Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
In the early morning of October 12, 2019, Atatiana Jefferson, a 28-year-old African-American woman, was at home in Fort Worth, Texas, playing video games with her nephew. A neighbor called for a welfare check after noticing her door open. Bodycam footage shows how quickly it turned tragic when Officer Aaron Dean fired through a window, killing her. The case sparked outrage nationwide. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories. The tragedy began in the early morning hours of October 12, 2019, when a neighbor, noticing that Atatiana Jefferson's front door was ajar, called 911 on a non-emergency line. The call was made around 2 a.m., and it was not a report of crime or danger, but simply a request for police to check if everything was all right inside the home. This detail is critical because a welfare check is supposed to be a protective measure, not a prelude to violence. Police responded quickly, and Officer Aaron Dean was among the first to arrive. His body-worn camera later revealed the approach he and his partner took. Rather than knocking on the door, identifying themselves as officers, or attempting to make contact in a typical welfare check fashion, they moved quietly around the outside of the home. Their flashlights cut through the darkness as they checked the perimeter. By 2:45 a.m., Dean reached the back of the house. There he noticed movement through a window, which turned out to be Jefferson inside her bedroom. In less than a second, Dean shouted, "Put your hands up, show me your hands," and almost instantly fired his weapon.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
The entire sequence, from the command to the gunshot, was so fast that Jefferson had no real chance to respond. She was struck by a single bullet, collapsing in front of her terrified nephew, who witnessed the killing from just a few feet away. The boy later told investigators that Jefferson had briefly retrieved a gun after hearing noises outside, believing an intruder was lurking. However, she never threatened anyone and had no way of knowing the people outside were police officers. Dean had not announced himself, which violated common practice and worsened the confusion. The shooting transformed what should have been a protective welfare check into a nightmare. Within seconds, a young woman's life was taken, a child was traumatized, and a community was left reeling. The discovery of a legally owned handgun near her body quickly became a focal point in the investigation. Her 8-year-old nephew, the only direct witness inside the house, told investigators that his aunt had briefly taken the firearm out after hearing noises outside. Bodycam footage confirmed that Dean never identified himself before issuing the rapid commands and pulling the trigger, which directly contradicted standard policing practices and wellness checks. Such omissions undermined the safety of both civilians and officers by fueling confusion and fear. The Fort Worth Police Department acted quickly, placing Dean on administrative leave the very same day. Officials held press conferences and released carefully worded statements, acknowledging community outrage while attempting to show that the department was treating the matter with seriousness. Community leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens expressed anger and sorrow, demanding accountability. The fact that Jefferson's death occurred inside her own home during what should have been a protective welfare check amplified the outrage. Public confidence in the Fort Worth Police Department suffered a severe blow, especially among African-American residents who already carried deep mistrust of policing due to historical and ongoing disparities. The fatal shooting swiftly drew nationwide attention, situated alongside a growing number of high-profile police shootings involving African Americans across the country. Community activists and civil rights groups called for transparency, accountability, and justice for Atatiana Jefferson. Protests erupted in Fort Worth and other cities, demanding changes to policing methods, especially regarding how officers respond to welfare checks and interact with people of color. The case became a catalyst for ongoing discussions about racial bias, police training, and the expectations placed on law enforcement officers in volatile situations. On October 14, 2019, merely 2 days after the shooting, Officer Aaron Dean resigned from the Fort Worth Police Department. Shortly thereafter, he was arrested and charged with murder. The charge reflected prosecutors' belief that Dean's use of deadly force was unjustified. The trial, which began in December 2022, revolved heavily around the interpretation of body cam footage, witness testimony, and forensic evidence. On December 15, 2022, after intense deliberation, a jury found Dean guilty not of murder, but of the lesser charge of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 11 years, 10 months, and 12 days in prison, a sentence noted for its symbolic reference to the date of the shooting. Atatiana Jefferson's death reignited critical scrutiny of law enforcement practices, especially during welfare or wellness checks, the most common reason police enter private homes. The case highlighted how the dynamics of race, perceived threat, and police training intersect with fatal consequences. Many police departments across the nation have since re-examined their protocols for welfare checks, emphasizing communication, de-escalation, and cultural competency. It also underscored the need for body camera technology to ensure accountability and provide objective evidence in officer-involved shootings. At the same time, Jefferson's shooting exacerbated tensions between police forces and minority communities, accentuating distrust fostered by a history of abuses and perceived systemic racism. It became part of a broader movement demanding justice reform, better oversight, and community policing alternatives. Her death left a void, with family members calling for remembrance alongside calls for systemic change. Memorial events and foundations established in her name strive to both honor her life and advance policing reforms to prevent future tragedies. The shooting of Atatiana Jefferson stands as a heartbreaking reminder of the fragile bond between law enforcement and communities of color in America. What should have been a routine welfare check ended in irreversible tragedy, raising questions about police training, communication, and accountability. Her death sparked nationwide outrage and calls for reform, while Aaron Dean's conviction brought a measure of justice. Jefferson's legacy urges society to demand systemic change and protect human dignity. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all liked it. The tragic case of Atatiana Jefferson reminds us how a simple welfare check turned into heartbreak and sparked nationwide outrage. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of our series. We look forward to seeing you next time, so stay curious about the next video.